my background, I've worked on everything from radar to inertial systems, satellite navigation systems, and I kind of think of myself as a systems engineer. Well, it's a great career at MIT, where I started at the instrumentation laboratory when I was a sophomore as an intern, and 46 years later, I retired. I had a lot of different experiences, but they all revolved one way or another about in guidance, navigation, and control, and avionics, land vehicles, and submarines, believe it or not. But I sort of had the technical bent, which was further, initiated by my uncle, who was an electrical engineer. So my earliest days, I hung around with him quite a bit, and he was always talking about what he was doing as an electrical engineer. So I became interested in technology, and then especially in airplanes, because we lived near Newark Airport. And so as a little kid, I was fascinated with these airplanes droning overhead every day with, their propeller noises. But the big thing that turned my interest to high gain, so to speak, was the launch of Sputnik in 1957. I was a sophomore in high school, and I had an early morning paper route. It's like 6 in the morning or so, and so in October of '57, it was kind of dark that time of morning, and I couldn't believe it, watching this satellite go overhead. So really, I got excited about it, and talked to my uncle about it, and I said, how do I get into that business? And he says, well, to get into space, you got to go through the atmosphere, and so it sounds to me like aeronautics would be a good place for you to go, but don't forget this electrical gadgets and all that stuff. So don't forget about electrical engineering. And so that's when I got turned on and decided that I looked at colleges, and there really were very few that offered a program in aeronautical engineering. MIT was one of them, and so I applied to MIT and a whole bunch of other schools, and then a safety school, Harvard. And by the time I got to MIT in September of 1960, they had changed the name of the department from aeronautical engineering to aeronautics and astronautics. So everybody, really got on board with the space race, and so there I was at MIT, and in the freshman orientation classes in the aero-astro department, they always brought in very famous faculty members to give speeches about their particular areas, and Charles Stark Draper came in and gave a big talk about guidance, and I can still remember the day, because I was so impressed with the notions that you could, climb into a space vehicle and close the windows and drive yourself from where you were at that moment to where you wanted to get an hour later using inertial guidance techniques. And so that's how I really got started, and I got started at the instrumentation lab in my beginning of my sophomore year. So that's when I really got involved with space